my god, that ugly man upset me. Hello guys, welcome back to Nostalgic Sensation. Vivian here. Today I'm going to be reacting to something completely different. It's not what you're used to. It's not the typical, sad song or love song, whatever. I think today we are going to be cracking our ribs. I'm going to be reacting to Billy Connolly, Dwarf on a Bus, live in London 2010. That was 14 years ago. I never seen this before. I don't know what to expect, but I figured it should be something somewhat funny. I don't know, because I did a bit of research, someone recommended, and I see that a lot of people thumbnail, they seem to be smiling and not crying, so I think that is what is perfect for this atmosphere, like something cheerful, so I'm gonna be reacting to that. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. Nostalgic Sensation is here to bring you every wave of nostalgia, from 10 years back to 20 years back to 30 years back, whatever. If you want any form of nostalgic whatever experience, you're right on track. Do not forget to like, subscribe, comment. I want to get to 5,000 subscribers before the end of next month. Please guys, I need your help to achieve that. Do not forget to share. Let me know in the comment section what you think or what your favorite part of this video reaction is. I'll be expecting it. So let's dive right into the video.
So anyway, my sister told me this, and she swears that it's true, and I hope it's true, and if I tell it right, you will hope it's true. My sister is a retired school teacher, and she supplies herself to people who don't have teachers. She's a supply teacher. When somebody is sick or dead, she'll supply herself. And a lot of her friends do this as well. And her friend told her this story. And when she told me the story, I thought I would pee myself. I was in New York where I live, and she phoned me, and I fell on my phone's next to my bed. I fell onto my bed. You know that way you laugh, your legs won't work right. And I told my wife, I said, Flo just told me the funniest story. I'm going to tell my audience this. It's about a dwarf. And she said, well, you can't, Billy. You can't do that. I said, why? She says, because you can't say dwarf. I said, why the fuck not? I'm talking about a dwarf. Well, surely you can say dwarf when it's a dwarf you're talking about. She says, they're little people. I said, but little people and dwarfs. There's a difference between a little person and a dwarf. One of them's a fucking dwarf. And they both know which one it fucking is. Don't give me that shite. So I decided to tell it. Her friend was going to supply herself to a school somewhere. And she got on a Glasgow bus. Oh, please be true. And she sat down, and it just happened to be the last seat. And the bus took off and trundled off into the day. 4 or 5 stops later, the bus stops, and a wee dwarf woman comes on. I've now compounded the felony by calling her a wee dwarf. She wasn't a particularly small dwarf. She was just a dwarf-sized dwarf. I'll probably get all sorts of complaints now. Dear Mr. Connolly, I saw your otherwise excellent show. What a pity you descended to the dwarf story. I, personally, am a member of the Tall Dwarf Society. I'm 6'4", and proud to call myself a dwarf. I also do impersonations of chocolate biscuits, if you're ever stuck. Anyway, the wee woman got on the bus, the wee dwarf woman, and discovered there's no seat, and so hung on to whatever was nearest, the seat to the pole or whatever, and the bus took off. There was a wee schoolgirl in a school uniform sitting over here, probably urged along by her mother. Give the woman your seat, give that woman your seat. She went over to the wee dwarf woman and she said, excuse me, would you like to have my seat? Whereupon the wee dwarf woman flew into a rage and said, oh, aye, because I'm a dwarf. You're offering me a seat simply because I'm a dwarf. Well, I have managed my whole life as a dwarf. It's not a problem to me. Keep your seat. The girl, cringing with embarrassment, went back to her seat, and the bus trundled on in silent embarrassment for a stop or three. Then, oh, please be true, a big Glasgow woman was getting off the bus. And before she went up to the door, she went over to the wee dwarf woman. She said, I'm getting off the bus and I'm leaving my empty seat here. Because I'm a dwarf? You said, no, not because you're a dwarf, because you're another human being. I happen to be leaving the bus. My seat is vacant. I'm merely pointing it out to you that it exists. As a matter of fact, I thought you were extremely rude to that wee girl and you owe her an apology. As a matter of fact, I hope when you go home tonight, Snow White kicks your ass.
Oh my God. That was so much fun. I'm not the kind of person to, make fun of people in their situation, like people who are not categorically beautiful or people who are fat or people who are short or small. I mean, I was bullied or made fun of for the most of my life because I've always been the smallest in my class. Like, I've been really small. I'm not a dwarf. I'm 5'3", but I'm quite small, so I identify as a little person. I'm not the kind to pick on people's like physical, but one thing I've observed personally in my life, I'll tell you a story. I recently was working with someone who initially he just seemed like a normal person to me. I didn't think of what he looked like much, but as I started working with him, he had such a dirty character. Like, his attitude was so appalling, and when I was so upset, I wanted to be like, oh my God, that guy upset me. And I went, oh my God, that ugly man upset me. Like, his physical appearance didn't dawn on me until I started experiencing like how ugly his inside was. So I think that's kind of like the same thing with this story. Like, you could just see them as a person, but when you experience them, it's like their character doesn't even match, and you're forced to focus on what they look like on the outside. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, let me know in the comment section if you've had a similar experience. But I do not support violence. I do not support bullying. I don't support any of that. But I really did. I enjoyed this one. It was super funny, super simple, straightforward, and straight to the point. Now, if you enjoyed this, do not forget to leave it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, guys. I really need you guys to get me there. Have an awesome one.